The following program is a presentation of Jez Sports. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Main Event Podcast. We are today discussing New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 17 in Tokyo Dome, which was also a tribute to the late Antonio Inoki. I'm Jez. That's the belt collector. That's Dan.
Yeah.
Many say that it's Kenny Omega, but it's not.
No.
Like, how many belts has Kenny got now? Well, one. But how many belts has Dan got?
A lot.
Too many to count. A lot. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm very well. How about you?
I'm doing well as well, yeah. It's been a busy start to this new year for me, but I'm persevering. A 7-hour Wrestle Kingdom didn't help matters.
Yeah.
I thought, we'll just get a nice bit of New Japan Pro Wrestling in and supplement our numbers for the year. Like, no, that's a day gone. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for that.
Great.
I think it was worth it, though, to be honest.
It was worth it. I have to say, and this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I've watched Wrestle Kingdom in the past. I will make a point of watching Wrestle Kingdom above all other New Japan or Pro Wrestle Japanese wrestling companies in general. And yeah, I'm glad we did because I thoroughly enjoyed it as well. But we will get to that as things go on.
Yeah.
We also have a little bit of a bonus in this episode. We did mention we would be doing so. We're not covering the entire Noah New Year's Day event, but based on our usual interest in WWE, we are going to discuss the Great Muta versus Shinsuke Nakamura in the main event of that show. Very, very, I don't know what the best word is, impactful, unique kind of experience, having a contracted WWE superstar be allowed to go and wrestle in the main event of another promotion's show. It's pretty insane. And, we also had another contracted WWE superstar in the New Japan show. The slightly less controversial circumstances, because it was pre-arranged when that person came into the company, but it's a big deal that they let Shinsuke Nakamura do this, and
big deal.
It was discussed by Shin during the build-up and the press conferences and interviews and things, that it was something that he knew would never ever be possible under the Vince regime, but was possible because Triple H sees the bigger picture. I think he is doing his best to kind of open a working relationship with some of these countries in Japan, because WWE, while somewhat popular in Japan, will never ever be able to touch the level of the homegrown Japanese promotions like New Japan and Noah. They never ever will. So why not work with them? And maybe, if you can use some of the Japanese talent on your shows without having to contract them, perfect. Why not? Why not your own Forbidden Door type event?
Yeah. Rub that in the face of AEW.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's kind of happened in the past in terms of what is now WWE history, because the original kind of crossover was with WCW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. And it's around the time that Triple H was starting out. I'm not sure where Triple H was at the time, but I want to say he was contracted to WCW when they did that big show that was a crossover between the two. He obviously wasn't on them, he was very, very new and very young. But he definitely saw it happening, even if he wasn't in the company. And I think that stuck with him all these years. So, great that it's happening.
Absolutely.
Let's discuss whether it was actually worth the effort and whether it was any good or not. So let's kick off with pros.
Yeah.
What did you like about this match, Dan?
Well, I like the fact that it started off technically. You know, there are quite a lot of technical stuff. Admittedly, you could see that the Great Muta was getting on a bit in age, you know, in some parts.
It is a retirement tour, after all.
Yes, it is a retirement tour. I get that, you know. I liked, not many people probably didn't like it, but I liked all the different mists that Muta used. He used 3 mists. Well, tried to use 3 mists. 2 of them were successful. 1 of them was kind of stolen in an interesting way. Yeah, just everything, you know, some interesting outside the ring moments. I think it was just a bit of everything, really.
Yeah, I think this was definitely a good match. I've got almost as many pros as I do cons. I do have some very, very serious cons in this match, though. Some of them not entirely related to the match, but related to the promotion and the presentation as a whole. I obviously, as a fan of the music around professional wrestling, really enjoyed the Shinsuke Nakamura violin and taiko drum solo entrance. It was beautiful. You know, it gave me goosebumps. It was fantastic. I liked the technicalness of it, the same as you. I liked the really long submissions that were taking place. And it was so evident that Shinsuke Nakamura worked hard to escape that figure 4 leg lock. It was locked in for a long time. You could see him like try and work through an escape and it not work and try something else and just keep going at it. It was good because that's what submission should be. It should be that you're locked in and you are doing your level best to get out of it so that you don't have to tap out or you don't sustain further damage from being in there too long. That was fantastic. I liked, and it seems to be a Japanese thing that I wasn't really aware of, that a kind of leniency with the rules, because we saw this again in New Japan. Muta just flat out took out the referee, and yet the match continued. So that was a thing. But I liked that. I liked that it continued. Obviously, you weren't going to end a match like this on a disqualification. That would have been stupid. So even if it was just latitude for this match, not that I think that was the case, I enjoyed that. I liked Muta completely no-selling the lariat after Shinsuke like really built up to it, ran down the ramp, just bosh, and no, I'm not moving. I am the immovable object. That was really good. Added to the kind of mysticism of the Great Muta character. And I enjoyed Shinsuke Nakamura stealing the poison mist. That was good. It was interesting in terms of how it happened, and then the comments that Muta made afterwards in the press conference. That was a little bit
it was funny
on the edge. But yeah, I enjoyed all of that. I do have some cons though. Do you have anything that you didn't like in particular?
Not particularly.
No?
I quite enjoyed it. So
from the match point of view, and I don't know if it is because of the advancing age, but it just didn't seem all that strong style to me.
No.
The punches and the kicks were very obviously pulled, and I say that obviously, you know, knowingly. I know that none of this is actually laying in, but it was just very, very snug. It didn't look quite as impactful as you would expect from a Japanese match, or from, you know, the self-proclaimed king of strong style in Shinsuke Nakamura. So I was slightly disappointed with that. I don't know if this is a con. It's just a general question. Is the mist just legal? Are we just allowed to do that?
Apparently we are.
Is it in the rule book, like legal things? Open palm strikes, green mists, red mists, black mists, not allowed. Yellow mists looks a bit too dodgy.
Pink mist.
Yeah, pink mist. I don't know where they stand on that one, you know. Rainbow coloured mists at certain times of year, maybe. Yeah. Doesn't seem like Muta's a big fan of that, but we'll move on.
Gloss over that bit.
My other two cons kind of prevent me ever going back to watching Noah, to be honest with you. So it's not about the match as such.
Okay.
But it happened while I was watching the match. The commentary.
All right.
The commentary was god awful. Absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
From the so you had the two guys. One of them, whom I believe was Welsh, I couldn't really work out his accent. It was kind of a Welshy, Birmingham-y, kind of North Walian, I don't know what it was. But I was raging every time he said Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm like, is he a cow? What is going on here? You're commentating Japanese wrestling and you can't say your R's? Are you serious? Nakamura. It's not hard. You can even bodge it if you are struggling. You can try and say it slightly differently. But Shinsuke Nakamura, no mate. Get out. Nakamura. Go and find another profession. That was atrocious. And then you had the other guy, the needlessly shouty Scottish guy who just randomly shouted when it wasn't exciting and wasn't shouting when it was. Very strange. And tell me you don't watch anything outside of this promotion without telling me you don't watch anything outside of this promotion. When he was detailing Shinsuke Nakamura's history, and he said, and his time in Next. I'm like, oh, I hate you so much. What is this?
I heard that as well, and I was like, oh my God, really?
Seriously. I don't know if they just grabbed two people off the street, but that's what it seemed like.
They're going to grab two people off the street. They could have at least come to us.
Hi. I can say Nakamura. That puts me streets above the other guy.
And I can say NXT.
Yeah. Jesus. And then later on, during the match, I was like, what are you doing? You're trying to tell the story of the match. And I think it was the Scottish guy, I can't remember who it was, turned around and went, Shinsuke's looking spent here. Immediately turned around and said, there's plenty left in the tank for Muta though. And while Great Muta was literally heavy breathing into the camera, I'm like, are you really trying to sell me on the idea that the Great Muta has got better cardiovascular stamina than Shinsuke Nakamura, who's 20 years younger than him? Pick your poison, mate. What is this? Terrible commentary. I won't be watching Noah again, or if I do, I'll watch it with the Japanese commentary and make the best of it, because I can't have any more Nakamuras, to be honest with you. Nakamura.
God, don't let Vince McMahon get hold of that. That'll be Shinsuke's new gimmick.
What happens is, pal, when you go to the ring, every time somebody chops you, you moo.
You moo.
Moo.
Your jumpsuit that you wear is going to be white with black dots on it.
It's like the modern day Dusty Rhodes.
And you're going to have udders.
Such good, pal. Anyway. Other than that, I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the match itself. The presentation by Noah left a lot to be desired. Maybe we could have had this in another promotion that doesn't employ terrible commentary teams.
Yes.
We both predicted it. We both went with the Great Muta for the win.
Yeah.
And we were both wrong. So we're starting this long day of Japanese wrestling great with a score of bupkis each.
0 points.
Oh well, onwards and upwards. Moving on to the pre-show for the Wrestle Kingdom event, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it. A 3-minute exhibition match. Boltin Oleg versus Ryohei Oiwa. They say exhibition. We have a term for this kind of match. It is called match that happened.
Yes.
Is that what exhibition means in Japan?
Match that happened.
It was nice to see two very obviously amateur wrestling geniuses try and make that transition into the pros, but nobody's getting anything done in 3 minutes. Not in an entertaining fashion, anyway. And I get that they're, very, very fresh, very, very young, very, very green, but not even 5 minutes. That
5 minutes. You could have done a little bit in 5 minutes.
Considering you literally had nothing for 10 minutes after this match before the next one. We were just looking at the crowd on your pre-show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really have anything positive or negative to say about it. It came and went.
Yeah. And the fact that they put the result up as a draw.
Thanks, guys. This basically never happened. There was no point in any of it. Just they might as well have just trained backstage. That's how much the impact it had. We both went with Oiwa for the win. And we were wrong because there was no winner. The match never happened, really.
No.
Draws are stupid.
Yeah.
Moving on. Definitely not a match that happened. Lots happened in this contest. The New Japan Rambo to determine who will challenge for the provisional KOPW 2023 Championship at New Year Dash. That came and went. Many, many people involved in this match, but it was eventually won by Great-O-Khan, Shingo Takagi, Sho, and Toru Yano. Let's get predictions out of the way.
Right.
I went with someone who was not in the match.
Okay.
I went with Ace Austin.
Good on you. Good on you. Good on that.
And you went with El Fantasmo.
Yeah.
Who was close, to be fair.
He was close. He was in the last 5.
Yeah. You missed out by 1, and you had you had more chance of getting this one right because I didn't realize it was a last 4 will advance. I thought it was a winner kind of thing.
Yeah.
But ultimately, neither of us got it correct, so we are still on nada.
We're doing well.
Did you enjoy though? That's the point.
I enjoyed it. However, I think the time countdown was a bit too quick.
Yeah, I mean,
as soon as somebody's in, the time is just about to finish again.
Yeah, I've never seen one of these types of matches before. Obviously, we've seen similar. It's very much based on the kind of Royal Rumble kind of.
Apart
thing.
from you can pin and submit and all that,
which I liked. I liked that as a difference. I think this may have a longer standing tradition, the New Japan Rambo concept, but I've never seen one before.
No.
I enjoyed the fact that you can pin as well. It's an interesting addition to the kind of battle royal concept. I guess I was kind of, to go on to cons quickly, I was jarred to see it end on 4 people. It kind of made it a bit anticlimactic.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that was good for what they needed, and the match was entertaining nonetheless. But I was kind of like, oh, kind of want the next bit. Can we not do the fatal 4-way bit now instead of looking at the crowd?
Get on
for
with it.
20 minutes while you wait for the next match. I know you've got another show tomorrow, but could you maybe now?
Yeah.
Just an idea. But I enjoyed it anyway. What did you like? Any other pros from you?
I liked it. I like most of it. I always like a Royal Rumble-esque match. And it's quite good for somebody who's not really watched New Japan very much to see a lot of New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestlers in one go.
Yes, so there were some names in there that I really like the look of, and I would really like to see more of. Like Sho, I'm like, hey, this is a great gimmick and really, really good in the ring. So I'd really love to see a bit more of him. And I loved at the beginning when he was just running away from Hikuleo.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And the interesting thing about Hikuleo, not to kind of spoil the main event in any way, but I don't know if you realize, but there is some Hikuleo, Jay White rumor that one or both or neither, that's how options work, is going to WWE because I think it's on the 22nd of January show. I think it's their next major show. They are having a loser leaves town match, which means that
I know that
somebody's going.
Hikaleo's contract is expiring soon.
Right.
Because I know that WWE are interested in Hikaleo and Tamatonga, whose contract is also expiring very soon. So
they just want to fill WWE with, Samoan / Polynesian in general wrestlers.
Let's just change WWE to the Bloodline.
Yeah.
Have done.
World Bloodline Entertainment. WB.
There you go.
WBE. WBW. World Bloodline Wrestling. There you go.
There you go.
Welcome into WBW.
WBW. It sounds very southern.
We're here watching Roman Reigns' cousin against another of Roman Reigns' cousin. He's got a few of them. It's a big family.
And oh my God, look out, it's Roman Reigns' cousin.
With the run-in. Yeah, so I'm intrigued by, because we've seen Hikaleo a fair bit in the Impact Wrestling crossover that they had last year. So yeah, there were lots of names there that I'm like, this is good. I like seeing all of these people and learning a bit more about them, seeing a bit more of the ones that we have seen in the last year between Impact and AEW. Yeah. So that's cool. There was a fair bit of meaty slapping, I think is the best way to put it, going on.
Meaty slap.
Between a few of them. Between our old favourite Tomohiro Ishii and somebody I'd never heard of and was very difficult to find on Google for some reason. Aaron Henare, them exchanging meat strikes. I quite enjoyed that. And in direct contrast to the Noah event, I enjoyed the commentary on this match, especially when they threw reference out to Kofi Kingston, like he's got to find a way to Kofi himself back in there. I'm like, subtle but excellent. I like it.
Very subtle.
And then Kevin Kelly piped up with, I could do with a nice hot cup of Kofi. Very good. Nice.
It was smooth. It was smooth.
It's kind of what we've been getting from Michael Cole since Vince left. That just a little throw it out there, referencing somebody from another company without outright saying, that's like Kofi Kingston, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
God knows what Nakamura guy would have said in this instance, and I don't really want to think about it.
He would actually say coffee.
He would. So that match was pretty full on.
Yeah.
But enjoyable.
Yeah.
Neither of us get a point from it.
No.
Any other thoughts before we move on?
No.
Excellent. That's another one covered. Let's see if we can get a point in the next one. Antonio Inoki Memorial Match. Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, and Togi Makabe versus Tatsumi Fujinami, Minoru Suzuki, and Tiger Mask.
I'll tell you what, I'm glad you're saying these names.
It's almost like I run a company that deals in Japanese goods or something, and I'm used to saying these things out loud. Did you enjoy this one?
I did. Yeah, I thought it was pretty all right.
It was what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was bad, but I enjoyed it for some part, especially Suzuki, just no-selling stuff.
Yeah, we love Minoru Suzuki. That's been well documented on this show in the past. But yeah, this was a very respectful older generation match, I would say.
Yeah.
My pro is really the no selling of Satoshi Kojima's chops by Suzuki, and then just laughing at him. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
He's got such a great maniacal laugh, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the guy and you're like, no, I'm not. It's all right. I don't think I will.
I'll leave him.
I'll go talk to this guy over here. I just won't. Yeah. It's all right.
He's the one when you go to like a pub or something. He's the one in the corner that nobody talks to.
Yeah, he's the one right at the edge of the bar, like propping up the bar. Yeah. He's got a pint and a shot next to him.
Yeah.
And yeah, you walk in that bar and like, right, yeah, maybe I don't need a drink.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have a night at home. Early night, maybe. Yeah, let's just get out of here.
Yeah, it's exactly that.
Yeah. The only con I have, and you may share it, was the Tiger Mask Makabe ending botch and terrible finish. Makabe just lying on top of him, like it was awful. And I feel like, okay, the botch is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
But could you have not done something? Couldn't you have called an audible there and then to just do one more move rather than just going, oh, we botched that move. Oh, well, I'll just lay on him. That'll get the pin. And it did. It was like, come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the response that we got as well when we predicted this match, because we both predicted the same once again. Sent our predictions in independently, but matched fairly heavily in this. We went with Fujinami Suzuki and Mask. Wrong. No points. Damn.
We're doing good at this.
We are, but that was all pre-show, Dan.
Oh yeah.
And you know, in the old school kind of WrestleMania pre-show kind of ilk, or the when it was Raw versus SmackDown on Survivor Series pre-show kind of ilk. If it happens on the pre-show, did it really happen?
No.
No, exactly. So let's sweep that under the rug. We'll get on with the main show, and I'm sure we'll do better from now on.
Yeah.
It's almost like we don't watch this very much, the New Japan Pro Wrestling.
It's funny that.
Opening contest of the main event, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship. The team of Yo and Leo Rush against Catch 2-2, TJP, and Francesco Akira. Some names we are very familiar with from their time in WWE. And all I could think of watching this match was, God, wouldn't it have been great if they hadn't have cocked up 205 Live?
Yeah.
Because this is the kind of show opener that you should have been getting from the 205 Live guys once that progressed further. Yeah. Because they were on the verge before they cocked it all up of having tag team championships for that division. Yeah. And this is what you would have had.
Yeah.
2 of these guys were in the company. Oh, it makes me mad. Makes me mad. And I hope that Triple H decides to bring back, you know, cruiserweights or junior heavyweights, whatever you want to call them, at some point, because it's amazing. This match was fantastic. Did you enjoy it? I expect you did.
I did enjoy it because it was very quick pace, very high flying. Everything I like from that sort of those sort of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, there was
and there was a bit of blood.
A little bit of blood. They were fighting off the up the ramp at the beginning. I quite enjoyed that. I enjoyed the timing that these guys had. I can't remember when it was, but an event that we discussed very recently, I complained about the timing of breaking up pinfall attempts in a tag team match and how people just weren't getting it. I think it might have been Winter is Coming, maybe, and I was just not happy with it. But the timing to which Akira pushed Leo Rush into a pin to break it up, it was pinpoint. It was absolutely perfect. And that's how it's done. People should be watching this match as an example of how to do that. In terms of cons, and you'll remember a time when we had to drink for this. The roll-up pin win. Really? You're gonna put that on for me, and then you're gonna end it with a roll-up? Do one.
Jog on.
Honestly, it was awful. So I'll have a little bit of my my Pepsi Max for that. The Jez Show is not sponsored by Pepsi Max, but we remain hopeful.
Have a beverage.
And the only other con I had, and I'm sure it's deliberate to look like a Burke, but why does TJP look like a mid-2000s emo?
Yeah, I get that. And also their team is called Chaos, so...
Yeah, well, the overall stable is part of the Chaos
I'm guessing
stable.
You're kind of trying to fit that vibe.
Right. Are they all kind of Bullet for My Valentine fans? Is that part of the club credo?
Yeah, My Chemical Romance.
You've got to say you're not all okay, that sort of jazz. And all that kind of thing.
I don't know what the rest of them look like.
You've got to lament the fact that your hamster died when you were 3. Is that part of entry. For
Yes,
chaos.
you do, Jeremy.
Well, get over it, TJ. Seriously. You've done all right for yourself, mate. Don't worry about the hamster. You can get another hamster. You've got loads of money.
Has he,
Positives
though?
for us. We finally got one right. Woo! We went with Catch 2-2. The emo and the Italian, as I like to call them. That means that we are finally the ones.
We are the ones.
About damn time too. Any other thoughts on that one?
Nope.
Okay, moving on then to another one that was cracking in my opinion. IWGP Women's Championship. Kairi versus Tam Nakano. Plus a little bonus bit of something at the end.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the match first.
Yep.
Pros from you, please.
Pros for me, again, it was fast paced. Always love a fast pace. Jump from the corner to the outside. Really nice. The pole driver looked like it hurt.
Looked dirty, yeah.
Yeah, I just enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, I think this was a decent match. It was a good showcase of what women's wrestling can be, and considering that is very slowly on the rise in Japan. This IWGP Women's Championship is a very new venture. Kairi is the first champion, and with this being the first show, first Wrestle Kingdom at least, back in front of audiences, big Tokyo Dome crowd, for them to put this match on really elevated them, I think, and we'll get more interest in some women's wrestling going forward. I love the entrances, especially Kairi's. Yeah. It's the kind of thing that I was expecting to happen when Kairi went up to the main roster, but that never happened. Tam Nakano's decent too. I liked her backstory, that she was an idol and worked her way to become a wrestler instead. Just generally all good on that front. Yeah. The only con I have from the match was that Tam Nakano's kickouts were slightly lacking. They were a little emphatic. It was like, just put my arm up a bit. Can't really be bothered to kick out. But other than that, it was good. Yeah. And then we move on to what happened after the match, which I have firmly in the con column.
Yeah, so do I.
Mercedes Moné debuting, delivering a crap move to Kairi that just looked terrible, and then a crap promo.
Yeah.
And I know that, the Japanese wrestling audience aren't, constantly bubbling like international audiences are, but could they have said any less or reacted any less to any of this? They
were firmly sat down on their hand.
Yeah, they're not even at the points where, you would expect them to cheer. Like, they cheer a lot when people are talking, like when there are promos. Yeah. Like, you only had to go to the end, and when Okada was talking, they were cheering a lot for what he was saying, and they couldn't care less. I don't know if a Japanese audience needs to be told who this is.
Yeah, I think they do. I think they're a bit like, who is this?
Yeah.
Do you want to know who else didn't care about it?
Triple H, probably?
No, me.
Oh. Fair enough. Yeah. Once again on this show, it is well documented that we are not fans of Mercedes Varnado, Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, whatever you want to call her, because she is massively self-centered and only cares about herself and not the craft and not the wrestling. Yeah. If you don't believe me, go and watch her on the Steve Austin podcast, because that tells you everything you need to know about her, frankly. Well, at least she's not coming back to WWE. At least there's
Thank God, the selfish female dog.
Perhaps, though, this could be part of the working relationship with New Japan that isn't official or, documented, but clearly there are conversations happening. So maybe she's on loan
No.
No?
No.
Yeah, I don't want it either, but
No.
I'm kind of on that team that's what's happening.
No. Don't spoil my day.
Okay. Well, I won't spoil your day with another loss in the predictions because we both went with Kyrie. We both get a point there. Taking us to deuces.
Deuce.
Very nice too. Next, tag team match. IWGP Tag Team Championships. Bishamon, the team of Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, versus FTR. I have no cons in this match for the first time in the event.
I don't either.
And again, in direct contrast to Noah, I thought the commentary was spot on in this match as well. Because, and it's kind of a con, but it isn't about this match or this event. We saw Bishamon during the kind of Forbidden Door build-up and fallout, and AEW did not present them in any way at all that made it seem like I should give them any respect or like them or anything. But like they'd won the whatever the big tag team G1 Climax tag team tournament, whatever it is. I don't know what it's called. Apologies to hardcore fans out there. I'm a noob. But they won that twice. Yeah. They were like one of the best tag teams in the company already, working their way up to getting this shot. And they just were treated like a bit of a joke in AEW during that Forbidden Door thing. So I think the commentary team describing the road that they went on to really fill in any audiences that had not watched before. And they knew that there were new audiences coming to watch this for the first time. Yeah. And I think that they handled it very, very well. And they also did a really good job. Again, much better because they could say the words NXT for a start. Did a much better job of describing the road that FTR took to get there. Yeah. And kudos to the commentary team. I think they were top notch. All three of them that were there all night. I think they were fantastic. Match wise, though, what did you think of the actual match?
I thought it was a great match.
Yeah, really
top class. You know, FTR I always think do deliver a great match. So
yeah. No, one of my pros is FTR doing what FTR do.
Yeah. So I wasn't really surprised when this wasn't a good match, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I liked the ending. I liked the Cash Wheeler making the save and then transitioning that straight into Big Rig and then what happened afterwards. That was really good. Generally fantastic match. And it marks the end of an era for FTR because with that, they have now lost all of their gold.
Everything.
In a just over... No, within a month. Within a 1 month stretch, they have lost it all. Starting with the ROH tag team titles on, what was that, the 14th of December, something like that? And then they lost the AAA belt a week or two later, and now they've lost this one. So they are coming back to AEW with zip.
Yep, and then hopefully they can come back to WWE.
That seems to be the way that it's going, doesn't it? But
I find it funny that AEW like kind of stole all of WWE's talent, and now that Triple H has taken over, they're taking everyone back effectively.
They're basically going all the way back in, and probably bringing some new people with them as well. Yeah, like the idea that Jay White may be on his way to WWE.
I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I do love Jay White. I think he's fantastic. We'll get to him more in his match, obviously, but I've got some other thoughts about Jay White and the wider wrestling companies and things that go with that. Also a win. We predicted the winner. Hooray! We're on a streak now, Dan. That's 3 in a row. We correctly identified Bishamon as the winners, which takes us to 3 each. Beautiful. Now, this pay-per-view is really going from strength to strength, in my opinion. Next up, NJPW World. It's not a World Championship. It's
Television.
NJPW World. That's the name of like their WWE network or whatever. So
Yeah.
NJPW World Television Championship. Not World Television Championship. Television Championship. You following?
Yes.
Good, thank God for that. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ren Narita.
The British boy.
Yeah.
And he had a go at Rishi Sunak.
He did have a go at Rishi Sunak. I did enjoy that.
Which I thought was hilarious.
I don't politic at all, but I did enjoy him.
Well, considering my mum is an NHS worker, I was like, I'm full on with that, mate.
Did you show her the moment?
I haven't yet, but I need to.
I was going to say you should do. Yeah. Like probably the second biggest British wrestler in the world. Yeah. Giving Rishi Sunak a telling off. Yeah. In front of not just a national Japanese audience, but a worldwide audience. Yeah. Yeah.
Go on, mate.
I once again have got no cons for this match.
No.
I thought it was really good. I don't really like Zack Sabre Jr.'s kind of attitude and persona because it is just an English bloke.
Yeah.
A bit of a laddish English bloke. I'm like, I don't really like those people.
No.
I deliberately avoid those people out there on a daily basis. But the guy can go.
He can go.
I liked the fast start. I liked that they imposed a 15-minute time limit. And it seemed, I don't know if this was deliberate or not, but it seemed in the ring to add like an extra pressure. Things moved faster because they were like, well, we've got to get this done in 15 minutes or we'll have a no contest and we'll have to do it again. It seemed that there was an urgency in the match. I really enjoyed that. What you'd expect from Zack Sabre Jr., submission and strike-based, really, really impactful. There was that moment, and I think I enjoyed it, where they were inviting each other to just kick each other full out in the back.
I enjoyed it. It was basically like, who can do it better? Yeah,
I mean, I enjoyed it, but it made me cringe. So, did I really enjoy it? I don't know. It's not in my cons, so I guess I did. Right. And then I liked the super like millisecond tight kick out before Narita kicked out. Yeah, that was so tight and it was beautiful. That is how a near fall should be. Wonderful work. Yeah, and then conversely, the sudden tap out, just out of nowhere, the match was over. Not because it was a stupid roll up.
No.
So beautiful. Excellent match. Now that Sabre is the champion and the television champion, I expect we'll see him defend that all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're going for with that championship belt. So we'll see a lot more of him and a lot more of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you can't tell, I think this event is convincing me that I need to be tuning into New Japan a bit more regularly. Feel like I might have been missing out a little bit by only watching it once a year. Winner, chicken dinner for the both of us. We both went for Zack Sabre Jr. Takes us both to 4. And while we started terribly on the pre-show and on the Noah show, we are undefeated.
Yeah.
On the Wrestle Kingdom main show. Just throwing that out there. Next up, and you can lead straight into the pros, Never Openweight Championship. Carl Anderson, WWE superstar Carl Anderson, versus Tama Tonga.
Yeah. Well, just to kick it off, OC gear.
Yes, I enjoyed that as well, yeah.
And the fact was, I don't know if you've seen Raw yet.
No, I haven't seen Raw for like 3 weeks.
Well, on Raw, he was wearing the exact same gear.
Cool.
Which I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I did miss. I don't know if you spotted it. Did you see Carl Anderson's nameplate when they popped it up? Because they tend to put like the logo of the stable. Yeah. Did you see what was on his? Because I missed it.
It was Bullet Club.
Was it Bullet Club? Okay.
Yeah. I'd have loved it if they put the OC club. Or
I would have as well. Yeah.
Or they even WWE.
Yeah, they didn't have to reference it, but if they'd have just thrown up the OC logo, I think that would have been magnifique.
Perfect, wouldn't it? But no, they put Bullet Club.
Okay, I mean he is Bullet Club, so fine. But yeah, slight opportunity missed there.
Yeah.
What else did you like?
Yeah. Also had the where he started with hitting him with the belt. Just the aggressive start. I just love the way that started. Just I'm going to get rid of him now.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Started outside, then it just went. He did the pile driver on the ramp, which was just really good. I did think actually Carl Anderson is actually going to win this, but
Yeah, no, I was with you. And I think Carl Anderson obviously had to switch how he played the role that he's been playing in New Japan, because he's gone from kind of liked in the Bullet Club to now being that dirty WWE traitor that is leaving the company. So it was kind of like he was playing the invader, the interloper here.
Yeah.
And the people were thoroughly behind Tama Tonga, even though, Bullet Club is very popular, despite them being a heel faction. They're very popular, and Carl Anderson tends to get a lot of love, regardless of what he does. Not this time, no. He has betrayed the Bullet Club. He has betrayed New Japan as a whole. And he can get back to WWE as far as that crowd are concerned.
Yeah.
And I feel like this was a kind of coming of age party for Tama Tonga. I know he's been involved in kind of single stuff before, and he's even been never openweight champion before, I believe. But I feel like this thoroughly vindicated his banishment from the Bullet Club and kind of drew a line under everything that had happened in the past, and now he can go off on his own massive singles run with the belt. So yeah, it was good. It was a fitting goodbye to Carl Anderson as well. I don't think we'll see him back in New Japan, maybe ever again.
No.
I think he'll spend his last days in WWE, and then
like AJ Styles has said, that's what he wants to do.
And then he'll just go home and retire with his hot Asian wife, as he likes to call her.
Yeah.
The only con I have is the botched stun gun finisher at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit of a fail.
Yeah.
Considering Tama Tonga inherited that from Carl Anderson, you'd have thought he might have been able to do it better, but
just a bit.
Oh well.
Never mind.
Now, who did you predict for the win in this one?
I believe I went for Tama Tonga.
You did, and so did I. So we continue the streak. Five-time correctly predicting a match champion. Yeah. Nice. Moving on. With the second time in the weekend that we have seen one of these gentlemen. Keiji Muto, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Shota Umino versus Los Ingobernables de Japón, Tetsuya Naito, Sanada, and Bushi. Another one of those oldie generation matches, but also with some young blood in there as well.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it? Let's start off with the cons this time. Tell me what you didn't like about it.
I didn't really have many cons, to be honest.
Nor me.
Because,
it was,
as you said, it was a bit of an older generation's match. So I was expecting it to be a little bit slower, as they are. But fair play, they held their own.
They absolutely did. Yeah. It makes me sad a little bit to see Hiroshi Tanahashi kind of slowing down.
Yeah.
He's not past it yet. But
no.
I mean, we saw it in his match with John Moxley I think that was at Forbidden Door or somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think it was Forbidden Door.
He's slowing down, and I think the bumps are catching up with him, and we're probably going to see a retirement tour starting within the next couple of years, and that's sad considering Tanahashi is not even just talking about wrestling. Tanahashi is a massive Kamen Rider fan, and we've seen his tributes to Kamen Rider over the years. He was even in the music video for the Kamen Rider Wizard opening music.
Yeah.
So I've got a soft spot for Tanahashi with all of my worlds colliding there. But he was still decent in this match, and I loved the comedy value of him stopping Keiji Muto from going up and doing the moonsault. Is that
no?
We're not going to do that. Actually,
think about what you're doing.
Yeah. Like, I know you're my elder, and I'm supposed to, respect you and let you do what you want. But you're not going to do this. I don't want to watch you die in the ring. Thanks very much. But yeah, it was a decent enough match. It served its purpose. It wasn't a spectacular, but it was another step on the road of the Keiji Muto / Great Muta. Very similar, but not the same name. Retirement tour. Now, this is where things have finally differed between us. You correctly predicted that Muto, Tanahashi, and Umino would win, and I went with Los Ingobernables. So, I will stay on 5. You will move to 6. And finally, we have predicted differently in this show.
Wow.
Again,
folks, to be honest, it is just a fluke. I was just kind of guessing most of the way.
I mean, I felt like those two matches, that one and the match with Shinsuke Nakamura, are matches where I thought I knew the most, to be honest, and got them both wrong. So I don't
know as much as you think.
Apparently not. No, I don't understand which ones of these is he going to win and which ones is he going to lose. It's like, I really didn't think he was going to put over Shinsuke Nakamura, who wasn't even in their company. So whatever, shows what I know. Moving on, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, Master Wato, Hiromu Takahashi, El Desperado, and Taiji Ishimori. Did you enjoy this one?
I did.
So again, this is as we talked about earlier, this is kind of what we should have been getting from 205 Live and all of that going forward, but it never happened. Yeah. And I think these guys were on the bigger side of junior heavyweight. I think a lot of these guys are getting ready to do their bulking up and moving into the heavyweight division that happens quite regularly in Japan. What did you like about this match?
The quick starts. Ishimori, is that how you say it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. The way he kind of just went and sat on the ramp and just was like, you three do whatever. Yeah,
and I loved him avoiding all three of the attacks. When people came to then get him, he avoided all three of them and just booked it back to the ring. I'm like, nice.
Yeah,
great heel work. I love that.
I thought it was very hard hitting, but agile at the same time. So I love it when that sort of thing happens. It's not one or the other; it's both combined. So it's fantastic. And just everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and I went into this knowing that you had predicted Master Wato for the win.
Yeah.
And then when I saw him do his crucifix finisher, I don't even really know how to describe that. It's kind of crucifix position, and then he does like a cartwheel to put you on the I don't know what that's called, but it was excellent. That was wonderful. But then he let go of the pin, and I'm like, okay, I'm not down another point. This is excellent. And then he came so close to the victory. Not once, not twice, but thrice. It gave me a little palpitation. But that was good. I mean, I was invested in it for different reasons, but I was still invested in the match. And I think that was great storytelling from these guys. It was a little bit turn-takey to move into cons. There were moments where these guys were just lying outside the ring, with very little reason, and that's the problem with multi-man matches, I guess. But and I didn't like Master Wato hitting his head on the mat after the sit-out powerbomb. I thought that looked a bit dirty, and can do without that. So, but overall, a good match. Nice little end of that break between the really kind of high-flying, impactful matches that we had at the beginning, and then moving into the meat, the business end of the event, as we as we go forward. You went with Wato. I went with Hiromu Takahashi. Therefore, neither of us got a point because Taiji Ishimori won. 5 to me, 6 to you.
Whoa.
Moving swiftly forwards. IWGP US Championship. Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. Is that a Will Ospreay thing, is it?
Yeah, that's what I do.
I see. There you go. Yeah. Great. I have pros and cons in this one.
Okay.
I will start by saying that I did enjoy this match.
I thoroughly enjoyed this
rather
match.
a lot, in fact.
Yeah.
So my pros first.
Go for it.
Omega just going for it at the beginning and launching into a beatdown of Ospreay and just really taking the momentum and making Ospreay look like a punk. That was great. The double stomp through the table and then sticking his head through it in a kind of, the Shining kind of here's Kenny kind of way. That was cool. I feel like in general, this was a return to form for Kenny Omega.
Mm-hmm.
He had obviously a string of fairly horrific injuries in terms of being able to wrestle. And I think he came back to AEW too soon, frankly. He was looking a bit slow and beaten up still, even when he came back. It improved as we went through the Best of 7 series, and I feel like that was a great kind of warm-up for him to lead into this. But I'm ready to say that Omega is officially back. Mm-hmm. I feel like he was back on top form in this match. He really, really was. And I think Will Ospreay was a great opponent for him to have, despite the fact that these guys really don't like each other when it comes down to real life. The Omega massively swollen eye as a result of those turnbuckle kicks. That was stiff. That was strong style. That was beautiful. Yeah. The DDT on the turnbuckle, it made me actually leap out of my seat and cringe a little bit. Yeah, it was dirty. That's what you want to see, I suppose. Yeah. The V trigger that was delivered when Ospreay was on the ropes and just sent him out of the ring like a sack of spuds. There were so many individual great moments that all came together to make this match great. And Ospreay was selling the hell out of it. Yeah. He looked like he was about to go into a coma at one point.
I know.
Excellent selling.
When was it? He sat in the corner, wasn't he? And he looked just completely gone.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
He was there just like...
Yeah, so that was cool. And he was selling being out of it, and then just got dropped on his face again for good measure. So yeah. So that was all the things I liked. Do you have anything to add to that? I mean, there were so many good moments. I probably haven't covered them all.
There's so many good moments from it. Just everything about it. I think you've summed up pretty much the big points. Just everything. Yeah. Go for your
negatives about it. Yeah. So my first one is kind of more a nitpick than anything, and we've talked about it. There seems to be a lot less emphasis on the rules in Japan. But when the referee watched Kenny Omega remove the turnbuckle pad and then just basically went
tut,
like naughty boy, I'm like, well, you're a referee, mate. You could do something about this. Maybe you could tell him off for a start, you could put it back.
Yeah, about those turnbuckle pads is it's not like WWE pads where they're small. So if you remove one, it might be like a bit subtle that you might miss it. They're one big thing.
Yeah.
If you miss that, you're blind.
Yeah, that's it. The referee was very busy doing something for the entire time that Kenny Omega struggled to take that off. This could have gone better for all involved, I think. Yeah. So that didn't really destroy my like of this match, but it's a nitpick certainly. This may be a controversial opinion.
Oh.
I think that this match went on a little bit too long. I think there was a point in the match that they needed to quit while they were very, very ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Because nothing really changed in terms of the story that they were telling. The story that they were telling was that, Omega went above and beyond to bludgeon Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Clearly saw him as a threat, so went above and beyond to break the rules and drop him off turnbuckles and annihilate him. I think that story was sold about halfway, and I feel like they could have ended it there, left the audience wanting more, and set up a better rematch as a result. I feel like from there it went into too many near falls, kicking out of moves that they had no business kicking out of, like big finishes, big moves from the top rope, things that should have ended the match, and they just kept kicking out of it. And I'm just like, no, you're destroying what was beautiful. Like, you've taken this too far. It should have ended about halfway. It should have ended when Will Ospreay was out of it.
Yeah,
and maybe a slight comeback, but then a comeback that was ended emphatically by Omega with a big move off the top rope, dropping him on his face on the turnbuckle, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because you can come back to this whenever you want. Yeah. Whenever you want. You can have this match over and over and over again. This is kind of, in my eyes, this is a Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes thing. You can have this exact same match 4 or 5 times and people won't get bored of it.
No.
So, like, know when to call it. It went on too long. Do you know what? Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it was a bad match.
I get where you're coming from.
Do you agree? Do you have any thoughts?
I thought it was fine as it is.
Okay.
I think it went on the perfect amount of time. I think Ospreay kicking out of the Extreme Rules is showing how much he really wants it and how much he does not like Kenny Omega anyway, and how much he's fighting, especially when you come to like the interview after the match, how emotional Ospreay was, and also just going in the post-match, pre-match interview, should I say, where Ospreay actually gets in Omega's face. That was funny. But, and saying that, in the pre-match, if I can say it right, post-match interview where he says, 1 more year and all that, that is because there was rumours that that WWE are interested in
Well, of course
Ospreay.
they are. Who wouldn't be?
And apparently he is considering it. The only thing I think problem with that is Ospreay wouldn't be able to be himself because Ospreay swears a lot.
No, I wouldn't want to see Will Ospreay in WWE.
No,
and not because I don't like Will Ospreay, but we wouldn't be getting the same Will Ospreay.
I think if it was more the Attitude Era, then yes, I think Ospreay would fit in fine.
And I would like to see him go to AEW because I feel like he could be himself in AEW.
Yeah.
But in a company that has just fired someone because they had an OnlyFans account, effectively, that pretty much tells you everything you need to know about WWE and its strive to be family friendly and squeaky clean. You can't have someone like Will Ospreay doing that in WWE.
Who's effing and blinding and says the C word a lot.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has ever said the C word anywhere near WWE, ever.
If they have been assassinated and erased from history.
Yep, they've been Chris Benoit, if you will.
Yes, they have.
Yeah. So I wouldn't want to see that, but
no,
we might be entering conspiracy theorist aspects of things here. If things end up going well and there is some kind of working relationship between WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling, do you know what I would love to see in a year?
What?
Wrestle Kingdom 18, Will Ospreay, Seth Rollins.
Ooh!
Because they are two people that they've had a little chat on Twitter, I think is the most PC way of putting it.
Yeah, that would be tasty.
And I don't know how that works with Rollins' recent injury, if he has indeed got an injury and it's not a work. I don't know.
Well, he's on Raw. He said he's going to be fine by the Royal Rumble.
Oh, okay, cool. I should probably catch up with WWE before I start.
Yeah, I think you should. There's a lot happening with Uncle Howdy.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched any of 2023 with WWE yet. I've been too busy. And then I was hoping to watch a little bit yesterday, but I was, watching 7 hours of New Japan instead. So there you go. Anyway, so yeah, if they can work out something where Seth Rollins goes and has a match in Japan rather than the other way around, I feel like that'll be a better experience for everyone, for absolutely everyone. Because Seth Rollins being allowed to go off would just be a wonderful thing for everyone to see.
It'd be amazing.
It probably won't happen. I'm, dreaming, pipe dreaming, but I would love to see a true rivalry where they can say what they want between Rollins and Ospreay. It would be incredible.
Be amazing.
So, in this match, we both predicted the same once again.
Oh!
And
so we both went with...
We both went with Will Ospreay, indeed, but Kenny Omega won. So,
boo!
So we've thoroughly broken the streak now. You didn't even get the point there, so we're still 5-6. Main event. In what has been one of the longest main event podcasts for a while. And not just because it's an AEW event with 1 million matches, but because we've talked a lot about a lot of these matches. I think we've been thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, that's because AEW has a lot of pointless matches. This has a lot of decent matches.
It's true. And capping it off with the most decent match of them all, I would say, IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Kazuchika Okada and Jay White. Or Jay Whiteo, if you prefer.
Jay Whiteo.
I have no cons. How did you feel about it?
I loved it. I feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a fantastic match, but I feel like it was kind of overshadowed by the Omega Ospreay match. And then this was kind of like, there's the Omega Ospreay match, and it's kind of come down a little bit for this, So
I see what you're saying, yes, and I feel like this should always have been the main event, regardless, because of Okada's links to Antonio Inoki and being still really of that kind of old guard.
Yeah,
he is a heavyweight wrestler in the truest sense of a heavyweight wrestler. He doesn't really do all the high flying and all that kind of thing. He isn't the kind of new heavyweight wrestler of the new millennium that has to do it all. He is very much I'm going to stand here and beat you up, and I'm going to lock you up in moves, and just classic wrestler. So in a show that was dedicated to Inoki, I feel like this was fitting that he be there in this main event. And I really feel like Jay White went over and beyond what he needed to do to be a heel in this match. He was mocking the crowd. He was actually getting them to chant Okada's name as if they needed the help to chant for the white meat babyface in this. And then when he took Okada out of the ring and was throwing him into the ring barricades and stuff, he was just casually having a chat with the Japanese commentary team, like, you having a good night? Yeah. He's not. Like, Okada's not having a great night. Like, bosh. Yeah, he's really not having a great time. Like, it was just so casual, and I enjoyed it a lot. And it was a slow, methodical match. The momentum was very clearly shifted back and forth. It was Okada's match for a period, then it was Jay's match for a period, and then it went back and forth. It wasn't a quick back and forth where you kind of didn't feel like you knew who was going to win. There were points where, like, well, Okada's dominating this, and he's just going to pin him at one point, and that's going to be that. And then it switched. Well, Jay White has now taken control. He's grounded him, and he's using a bit more of his kind of flying around and type of thing. And you really didn't know which way it was going to go, other than it being, the biggest show of the year dedicated to Antonio Inoki. And if Okada had have lost, there would have been some very unhappy Japanese people. So I don't think they could really have done that.
They couldn't have done that.
No. And then finally, the other thing I liked was the constant flagrant theft of each other's finishers.
Yes.
And
I love that.
The commentary team's attempt to try and rename them in the other person's image was pretty funny as well. So that was a lot of fun. I'm with you though. It was overshadowed by the other main event because it was a double main event.
Yeah.
But I still enjoyed this match quite a lot. Anything to add for you, or any negatives at all? No,
you've summed it up nicely.
Perfecto. And we end with a win because, it was fairly inevitable, although I was worried at certain points. Kazuchika Okada with the win, both predicted him, which takes you to 7, brings me to 6. Should probably do that the other way. It's a bit more Roman. It's like Roman numerals that way, isn't it? You put the 1 before the 5, but
yeah.
Oh no, you wouldn't. That would make it 4. I don't know what I'm talking about.
What are you on about?
No idea. Nobody knows. It's a good job I do a podcast, isn't it? Where I can just ramble and people have to listen. People have turned off. Anyway, that brings the year-to-date scores thusly. It's quite hard to say. Thusly. It's very tonguey. I am on 20 for this quarter. You are on 18.
See, I'm catching.
You are. You closed that gap, by 1. It was that one match. It was
one. Every little counts.
It was the Keiji Muto match.
Yeah.
It's the great Muta's fault that you are closing out a little bit. But there are, I want to say, 3 events to go in this quarter. We have tonight, as of recording on Tuesday, NXT New Year's Evil. That's one we're predicting. We have Impact Hard to Kill on Friday night. I'm predicting that one. And I think that is it until the Royal Rumble.
I think so as well.
Yeah. Unless we, randomly throw in the January 22nd New Japan show for fun. What's that
Jesus
called?
Christ.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's on at sociable time. That's the great thing about New Japan as well. It's on at like 9:30 in the morning. It's great. You get to watch it with your breakfast.
Yeah, but what day is it on?
I don't know. I feel like they do most of their events on the weekend or on Monday and Tuesday, so it's perfect for you and I who don't work Mondays and Tuesdays,
Yeah. That'll be right then. We'll see.
So maybe we'll throw that one in there.
Maybe. Depends how lazy we feel.
Yeah. I'm thoroughly tempted based on my enjoyment of this event, to be honest with you.
But do we want to taint it?
That's a good question. But on that note, all that remains for us is to give New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 17 in Tokyo Dome, to give it its full title, a rating out of 5. And so I'm going to throw this in as a tribute. Please give me a score out of 5. Great Muta Mists.
Oh. Well, I have to say, I really, really enjoyed all this. Really enjoyed it. So I'm giving it a 4.
Nice. Yeah. I think 4 is kind of my minimum score, to be honest with you. I'm going to ignore the pre-show because it was a pre-show. I'm only judging this on the actual event itself. And so for the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches to be top-notch, and then you slow down to do a tribute to a legend.
Yeah.
And then you start then to pick it up again with the Fatal 4-Way, which was okay. And then you go all out with the double main event. Like 4 is a minimum in mine.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give it a touch more.
Okay.
Touch more. And we're starting the year off strong with a 4.25 from me.
Wow.
For this event, which I think ties the highest rating I've ever given anything.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed
One day
this.
they might put one out that's just perfection. You never know.
Yeah. What could they do? Like, how could they improve? I guess you don't have a bad match or don't have an average match in the middle.
It would just be constantly good.
Yeah.
Constantly, on the edge of your seat, sort of good.
Maybe it's, next year, Wrestle Kingdom 18 with Seth Rollins and Ospreay. Maybe that's what will do it.
You never know.
You never know. Maybe this year's WrestleMania will do it. The first...
Maybe the Royal Rumble.
First Triple H WrestleMania, the first Triple H Royal Rumble. Yeah. Who knows?
You never know. It could be Impact.
It could. I mean, I'm not going to poo-poo on Impact because we did enjoy a lot of their stuff last year. But that's the one thing I was gonna add, and I forgot during this Jay White match. But we've got the time. Let's just quickly discuss it now.
All right.
I am retroactively disappointed in Impact Wrestling for not doing more with Jay White.
Yes. Because
now we've truly seen what he can do. A tiny bit in AEW, and they didn't really use him properly in AEW either.
No.
Probably handcuffed by what they could do from New Japan. But they clearly weren't handcuffed with what they could do with Impact Wrestling, because otherwise they wouldn't have treated him so badly.
Yeah.
Why wasn't Jay White in the World Championship picture? Even if he didn't win the Impact World Championship, why was he not in the main event wrestling for that?
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
He was in what we considered one of the matches of the year with Alex Shelley.
Yeah.
That was incredible. So that was a good showcase for him, but why wouldn't you use a guy like Jay White to boost your World Championship? Bit daft in retrospect.
Because they're imbeciles.
Yeah. But yeah, just a little rant that came across my mind as I was watching the main event of this show. And now it is shared with you, Dan, and you, the audience, to whom I offer thanks and salutations for joining us here on the Main Event Podcast. Yeah. It's been a great show. I've really enjoyed talking about this event.
Yeah.
Hopefully, NXT and Impact will carry that momentum forward for our next two shows. Stunned silence suggests probably not, but we'll see. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
I've got more hopes for the Royal Rumble than I do those two.
Well, we'll get to that. Not long. 2 weeks away.
I love the Royal Rumble.
We'll be knee-deep in Royal Rumble. Until then, though, it's been wonderful, but we must depart. Yeah. I've been Jez.
And I've been Dan.
This has been the Main Event Podcast. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.